Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I finally have the All Quests Cleric run here for you. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do a proper live run of it, but we are going to do a live commentary as I watch it. I'm just going to go ahead and press start. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty certain that the run's going to start in a moment. And any moment now. There we go. Alrighty doty. So, as I said, unfortunately unable to get a live run done with a live commentary, although it did give me the chance just to lock in and focus on actually doing things right, and fortunately not have any crashes or anything, so that's good news. Anyway, all we're doing at the start here is moving from point A to point B. Just got to kill that one spider because we will get stuck. You'll notice that I already have a bunch of players loaded in. That's for a future item dupe coming up. Only thing we're looking for here is what kind of cutscene we just get here. So you'll notice we've got a pretty normal looking cutscene. This is no glitches or anything here, so we're going to get pretty standard enemies throughout the game. For anyone wondering, if we can get 3 different glitch cutscenes here. One of them is what I call the good cutscene glitch, where our character shoots in quickly at the last second. That means we still spawn right next to this dwarf here, and that enemies will be a little delayed. Unfortunately, I get stuck on something here. I think I picked up the wrong controller. I don't quite remember, or I wasn't focusing. Yeah, I wasn't focusing, and I picked up the wrong controller. As you can see here, the enemies are acting pretty normally. In a good glitch cutscene, these guys would be acting a little bit different. We're also going to get a normal cutscene here. So the other side effect, of course, is that there is no side effect to this cutscene or what happens just after this cutscene here. If we had any of the glitch cutscenes, these guys would all walk in, and then they'd still be walking in right now. Like the cutscene itself is tied to the in-game mechanics, so they would still be walking in the actual in-game movable playable area, like we are in now. As we always do with the cleric, we need to take a detour here to get a set of skeleton keys. We do get blocked here. We could probably reroute this and find a better spot to get some skeleton keys. But the main reason we do this right here, actually I already know a spot, but the main reason we do this right here is to go into the Nose Necropolis. We're going to go ahead and pick up a whole bunch of potions and cause a bunch of skeletons to spawn in. With any form of cleric speedrun, we need to spend some time at the start of the run leveling up. So that's why we're doing this. We have 2 moves, heal and turn undead. So with the cleric, we use turn undead at the start here to get easy kills on skeletons. Just while we're running around through the first set of areas of the speedrun. I mean, an old guy here called Vasic, we pay very little attention to him. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to unlock a move called Bull Rush. So we need to level up at least once for it. So we just get that 1 level up, and we'll have enough level up points to unlock Bull Rush. After that point, we will be using Bull Rush mostly for movement. We can also use it to get into battles, get out of battles, just general movement as well, of course. So it's not too much else going on. We are going to stop again once again up here. We're just going to circle around. There's like a health fountain up here. Interesting. Okay, so there's a little bit of a detour from what I usually do. So usually, as you would have seen right at the end there, a skeleton spawned in. A few skeletons can spawn in here. This actually adds up because at a certain point in this run, by the way, I spawned one of the characters in here. This is going to be important for the shop. The character spawned in. We've loaded them in. We're going to go into their menu. We're going to give a raised dead amulet from them over to the cleric here. And then we're going to sell 2 raised amulets that we now have to Vasic here. And we're going to use those raised dead amulets to buy 2 rods of fire, as well as a bunch of will potions, which are just mana potions. Sorry, getting back to what I was mentioning before. There's a certain point just further up here where I'm like, why am I missing kills on skeletons? And this explains why. I don't know why I didn't stop there, but I didn't. So usually I stop by the entrance to this crypt area, and usually I get a couple kills there. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to ignore everything just for the moment here. As you can see, I'm playing around with the 4 controllers plugged in. I'm going to go into a secret area here. This area has a bunch of skeletons that spawn in, and we get a sweet multi-kill here. Just going to walk around, picking up items. We get back our raised dead amulet. I get stuck here, unfortunately. Just try and get as close to the middle of the room so we can spawn all the skeletons in and kill all of them. Like I said, you get a really cool multi-kill out of it. And then just around the corner here, there's another good spot here where a bunch of skeletons spawn in. So you can see there's what, 5 or 6 skeletons there, and there's another one there just spawning in. So we get those kills, and then we just continue. And it's going to be rinse and repeat in a couple other spots. For some reason I wasn't paying enough attention there. I was like, oh, look at these 2 enemies, and I didn't think they were going to keep moving like they were there. And we're just going to wander around and go and complete our very first quest, which is just picking up a soul shard that's around the corner. Just going to keep moving. And there's not too much else going on here. As you can see here, we're just moving by all these guys. Up around the corner here, as you can see that purple arrow on the map. That is where the first soul shard is. So we're going to go pick that up. We're going to get some kills on some more skeletons in there as soon as we pick it up. And then we're going to move to the next area. I would also like to mention, since I should have already advertised it, but I'm going to start streaming soon. I'm not exactly certain when I'm going to get this specific video out. It should be like the week before I start properly streaming. I'll probably have done a couple test streams, or I should have done a couple test streams just to make sure everything's running. We're going to be streaming to both YouTube and YouTube Shorts. And the idea is that I'm going to stream 3 times a week for 4 weeks straight. Got unlucky there. But I'm going to stream 3 times a week, 4 weeks straight. And then I'm going to have a couple weeks off at a certain point just because of work. So as you see here, I get a bunch more kills. And there's actually a couple more skeletons, I believe, or just the one. Oh no, there they are. Here's our other friends. There we go, got all the skeleton kills in this spot. And this is pretty normal. Sometimes I get to this point and it's like, oh yeah, I've killed enough skeletons, I can level up Bull Rush. Or I'm very, very close to doing it at the very least. In this next area here, we're going to get past like a little hallway here with a bunch of traps. It's kind of like a puzzle, not really, because you just kind of move straight ahead, dodge the fireball coming in. You know, we're not going to get hit. Well, apparently we are, because I didn't walk properly, but if you do that correctly, you won't get hit by any of the walls, you won't get hit by any fire, or get hit by that little thing there as well. Usually this is where we get the remaining amount of kills that we need to level up. So this is where I would have been a little confused. I'm literally like 1 or 2 kills off. So yeah, I should have gone forward and charged this guy and killed him, and I think here's where I get the next kill. So unfortunately that's a little bit of time loss. So what I'm going to do is just put on Bull Rush, immediately try to use it. And as you can see, there we go, Bull Rush. That's going to be our main form movement. So if we are ever moving in a straight line, Cleric with a Bull Rush is the fastest character in the game. Unfortunately, the entire game is not a straight line, but it's still the best way to move around as the Cleric. So I hope you like the word Orpha. That's not a word, obviously, but hope you like the chant, I should say. Orpha! Orpha! You can hear that a lot. Alrighty doody, quest number 2 coming up. ArchivedNonsense. As you see just before, we hit one lever, turned off a trap for it, and then we opened the door. Sorry, we opened the door and then we turned off the trap. Have to do those things if we want the ArchivedNonsense, and if we want to get through this door just in front here, once we get past these guys. That door right there, you need the ArchivedNonsense to open that door without door hopping or anything, and even in the any percent run, door hopping there is not exactly ideal. I have tried it in the past, but it's quite inconsistent because it's door hopping, there's a bit of randomness. Unfortunately, we get stuck here. It's not entirely surprising because of our small, how much slower that the Cleric is, but it's still unfortunate. And we do get stuck here a little bit, but the spiders also move out of the way. Unfortunately, I'd already smacked A couple times and ended up killing them. There we go, get some good pathing here. We're going to complete our 3rd quest, which is finding Vasek and returning the ArchivedNonsense to him. There we go. Unfortunately, so basically in return for getting the ArchivedNonsense for him, he's going to show us the way out. He just says that here. Unfortunately, he also gets shot in the back by an arrow, so he's dead. Rip. But the gate for the key that we just got is right here. So we just walk around the corner here, and we're going to head to a place called Billet's Lair. And we're going to see our first major skip of the run. It's going to be pretty neat. But before that, of course, we're going to do an item dude. And I believe I item dupe all the way to 40 will potions, as well as 40 rods of fire. The 40 rods of fire I'm confident about. I'm not 100% certain about the 40 will potions. We of course also duplicate a bunch of other stuff as well, including the raised dead amulets. So the main thing here is to make sure that I duplicate all my potions, the rods of fire to at least 40, as well as getting, I want to say, at least 12 raised dead amulets, which I'm pretty certain I clear here. A little bit slow here, just because I've got multiple controllers I'm trying to access. So I'm just trying to sort that arrangement out. And we got plenty of potions. And the main thing will be duping the rods of fire and another 8 will potions, I believe. And that 40 will potions is just a good spot to be sitting at with all the bull rushing we do. I think we do another set raised the amulets as a matter of fact. Do we? No, I do not. Okay, that's good. They're not exactly useful. I mean, there is a couple spots in the game where it's good to have more... Oh, there we go. I actually do in the end. There are a couple spots in the game where it's worthwhile over-duping on stuff like raised dead amulets. It's like a very specific couple areas in the game. So there we go. Now we're going to go fight Bullet. I lie, sorry. We're going to skip Bullet. So just going to keep an ear out. We can see Bullet's already charging. Even with the regular cutscene at the start of the game, Bullet is quite aggressive. And then something happens there. And for some reason I switched from Bull Rush back to Heal, which that can happen. So Bullet sort of just charges into the wall next to us. It's not too bad. Bullet's on a good path there. You've got to be very careful about this fight, because Bullet can easily get stuck on walls and stuff. So you kind of have to guide Bullet in a way, but also Bullet just likes charging sometimes. Just Bullet will sometimes just desperately want to charge. So fortunately it doesn't take us too long to get set up here. So this is the first skip of the first major skip of the run. This is called door hopping. I know we're not hopping over a door or anything, but for the most part we use this to hop over doors. Now this doesn't look very good, and it's not really good, that spot. But the best way to basically skip the bullet fight is to utilize door hopping to spawn in multiple characters. For some reason on the Xbox 360 they spawn up in the air. And then you can see the rocks down below there for a brief period. We're going to basically spawn up and kind of go around and across them. And that's a pretty consistent, method of spawning to do here. I think this one's actually ended up being a pretty poor bullet skip. Okay, that wasn't too bad, but this is slower than it should be. I almost go back to the main menu there. That would have been quite scary. There we go, we're out of the bullet fight. And then I accidentally split there because I'm used to splitting there for any percent. So that was a bit slow. For those that want to see me fight Bullet, there is an all bosses category for this game. As you can tell from this, in any percent we skip pretty much all of the bosses except for the final boss and one mini boss before him. We obviously skip Bullet there as well, in any percent, as well as all quests, because he's not a quest. Bullet is not a quest to beat, you don't have to kill it. We just gotta skip past it, so that's what we do. And all bosses, however, of course, the name of the... excuse me. And all bosses, however, of course, that being the name of the run, we fight all the bosses and beat them, including the final boss, Caden. So that's a pretty fun fight to go watch. The setup is pretty much similar to what we just did there, where we duplicate the rods of fire and then we use them against Bullet. All we're doing here in the swamp is moving from point A to point B to go to Castle Bale. You will have noticed we did not get a cutscene for these trolls. That's because I used some very specific movement back where the troll cutscene is to move along the top of the area, so that way we would not get the troll cutscene. Believe it or not, whilst I was routing some of the first cleric runs, I did that on accident. I was like, oh my goodness, you can skip this cutscene. So that's what we did. Just gotta get through this cutscene with the merchant here. Just skip past them. Or not skip past them, we just click through the cutscene. And there we go. We're basically at Castle Bale. Just gonna wait till we get to the text box that says that we've completed the quest, and that's where we'll split. There we go. There you can see I screw up. So I lose a little bit of time there because I screw up on the splits. And as you can see, this is why we duplicated the Rods of Fire earlier. So we can beat all these trolls, and then go hand in a quest for them. So if you come into Castle Bell, the first thing you're actually meant to do is find the Crimson Scar gang. And then after that, they will tell you about the trolls out here. However, if you kill the trolls first, and then you go meet up with the Crimson Scar gang, you will get a little... I thought we got lucky there. Never mind, there we go, that's how we get lucky. But if you kill the trolls first, and then go find the Crimson Scar gang, you complete both quests at once. And there's actually a special cutscene for that as well. They'll be like, oh, you've done it already, sweet. So, it's the main thing here. We're just going to go ahead and kill all these trolls. And as you can see, the Rod of Fire at this point of the game is our best way of dealing damage. Just like, mostly consistently one-shotting these trolls. This one here, we specifically use the barrel's neck switch to guarantee the kill. And that's all the trolls. Now we're going to go find the Crimson Scar gang over here in the Dragon's Tankard.
Have you done that already? Nice work.
So as you can see, the Crimson Scar gang there, they're quite happy that we've already taken out the trolls. So they give us the Great Hall key. We're going to use the Great Hall key to get into the Great Hall. At the end of the Great Hall, we're going to find an item called the Treasury Key. We're going to get that, and then we're going to go find a guy called Rick in the castle shop. Now, there's nothing too much going on at this point in the run. Once we're doing a lot of fetch quests, I'm just moving from point A to point B. Great Hall's just here to our right. And like I said, we're going from point A to point B in here as well. And then the main thing that we're going to do is we're going to get to the end of the area. And we're going to save. And then we're going to load. And when we load, we're going to be spawned back here. That's because the way that D&D Heroes works when you enter an area is that it basically like sort of does like an internal save, essentially, I guess, of where you entered the area. So it will take note of that, and if you say die and lose all your raised dead amulets and you game over and you decide to continue, that's where you'll spawn in. Also, if you save and load whilst you're still in that area, or if you save and you load the save of you being in that area, you'll be spawned back at the start of the area. So we abuse that to go and get the treasury key here. And then once we've got the treasury key in our inventory, we save, load, and we're back at the start of the area. And unfortunately this troll is kind of in the way. Sometimes the troll will walk out in front of you and you'll be able to just hit the treasury key straight away. As you can see here, save, load, back out to the front. All I've got to do is make sure that I hold down in order to make sure that I just walk straight out and we don't lose any time. Now we're just going to walk across the market area to the other side. We're going to go into the castle shop and meet Rick. And that's going to be the end of another quest, which is bringing the Great Hall and treasury keys to Rick.
I offered to disclose the way to a group of rogues recently, in return for completing a relatively simple task, but they weren't up. The Crimson Scar gang or some such thing. Lost their whole troop, I hear. But I see you are more skilled than they are. I'd say you have a far better chance of reaching these portals than most, and you'll need to understand the dangers of doing so. They were created by a wizard named Caden. He harnessed their powers to create different gems, and became a mighty and savage conqueror. Baal called on its best warriors to take arms against him. They defeated Caden, but in his last breath, he cast a spell to kill them all. The townspeople tore down his castle, returned the gems to their planes, and sealed the entrance to the portal, rebuilding Castle Baal on top of Caden's once mighty fortress. But the portals still remain, buried deep within Baal's dungeon. The door to them is sealed. 4 jeweled scepters open it. One of the scepters was in the treasury. This amulet will open the scepter's vault. find that scepter and bring it to me here before we go any further.
There we go. There's just a large chunk of the run and the game basically explained to us. All we're going to do is a quick shop, sell 2 of our raised in amulets that we duplicated earlier, buy a bunch of warp stones because we'll need them soon, and then we're going to go start our fetch quests. As you can see there, I get a little confused because I'm like, do I need to stop and do an item dupe or anything? No, I don't. That's not until after I get the jeweled scepter. Basically, the story of this game is that a bunch of heroes kill an evil wizard named Caden. He gets revived by a bunch of idiot clerics, I think a bunch of hobgoblin clerics, and then we get revived to go deal with him. Rick's basically just now sending us out on a bunch of fetch quests to grab a bunch of jeweled scepters in order to open up a door in the dungeons so that we can get to the portal hub area where we're going to go to into each planar gem area. In a casual run, you go and grab all the gems and fight the bosses in there. We're not going to quite do that. As you see here, we're moving mostly from point A to point B. We're about to grab the first jeweled scepter. You'll notice we grabbed an item called the Tome of the Pupil. That's going to play a role later on. We're going to be duplicating that so we can unlock certain moves later on in the run to help us with the final fight. I believe that's what we do in this particular run, because for the most part at this point in the game we're going to be picking up an item called the Thrown Axe of Ruin. Very, very handy, deals a lot of damage, and has a side effect that with regular enemies it can kill on hit. But if it doesn't, it does like a guaranteed 75 plus damage from memory. I think the range is something like 75 to 100. So we go, we found the first jeweled scepter, brought it back to Rick. Those are 2 separate quests.
You found the scepter.
So now, after this cutscene, we're going to do a dupe.
3 scepters remain. I believe one would have been cared for by Bale's
The next area here in the barracks that we're about to go into, that's where the Thrown Axes of Ruin are as well. So I'm going to grab them and duplicate them. We may skip the duping here, I don't quite remember. So this is the point of the run where I get a little confused, mainly in regards to the duping. Because the reality is that, I think I ended up doing it anyway. The reality is here is that duping is a little bit, I want to say, like, you don't need to do it just yet. It would probably be quicker for me to wait until after getting the second jeweled scepter to do duplicating here. So I think I duplicate maybe like 10 Tomes of the Pupil for later on. But again, I could just wait until I get the Thrown Axes of Ruin. That way I do both of them at the same time. And that way I've just got that little set of Tomes in the background if I need them. I think I did 5, and then yeah, I'm going to do another set of 5. After, of course, I duplicate a bunch of will potions. Then I think I save here as well. And that's where I split on the Tome of the Pupil dupe. Now, in reality, I could probably just drop that split and live split and just not use it, because it's not a quest, it doesn't really need to be there. It's just a major point in the run. Here we go, into the barracks. This won't take too long. One thing I should have done but there as the screen was going to black is that you can still use items in that stage, even though we can't move. But yeah, I could have filled up my willpower there. Here we go, going to grab the officer's key here. And then we're going to go to a secret area, which has a bunch of items. And then we're going to grab the Thrown Axe of Ruin, and then grab the second jeweled scepter. So as you can see, there's a bunch of stuff in here. But the only things we want are these Thrown Axes. Little fun fact as well is that most of the items and all like the barrels and that scattered around in D&D Heroes, mostly they are random. However, there are particular rooms like that one we just went to where the items are fixed. So that way we know when we go into that area, we're always going to get those Thrown Axes. So again, we're going to use the same method we used earlier, back when we were in the Great Hall. we're going to spawn back in at the start of the area, and then because there's a little save portal there, or a save point I should say, we're going to use a warp stone, and we're going to go back to the castle shop. And that makes the second half of the fetch quests here a lot faster.
Excellent work. The second scepter.
There you go, Scepter 2 done. We're going to go get Scepter 3.
I believe one would have been
And
Church of Palor.
this is where I could do a dupe for the Tome of the People, as well as probably duping the Thrown Axes. But also, even if I didn't do it here, when I get to the Portal Hub area, I can do it there as well. So, just to reinforce the fact that that Tome of the People dupe split probably doesn't need to exist. Don't get confused here. This is the strat we're supposed to use. We go back to the barracks where we just came from, because the Church of Palor is basically just across the way at the entrance to the Castle Bale. So for some reason I'm getting confused here as to which way I'm supposed to be moving. But there we go, we got the Sun Medallion, key item from Rick to get into the Church of Palor. And then we're going to go in here and we're going to do a door hop to get into the last room. Normally you would have to kill a bunch of Mind Flayers to get to one back room, and then you would hit a lever in that back room and it would open up a hidden door, which you can just go up to and you can door hop over, in the Xbox 360 version. So we get a pretty good first spawn here. I think we struggle for a little bit here on the second spawn. What we want to see is we want to make it so that it looks like we're already over the other side, but we won't actually be. We'll be sort of up on top of the wall here. Once we see that, we know we just need one more spawn to get into the room. So struggle a little bit here. As far as I'm aware of, the enemies can affect the spawns. There we go. That's perfect. So it kind of looks like at first glance that we're already in the room, but we're actually just up on top of the wall, essentially. So I believe, there we go. Now I despawn the fighter, so that way I'm running with just cleric. And then once again, we're going to save. Split here for finding the jeweled scepter. I'm going to save and load, and then we're going to walk back to the castle shop. There's always a little bit of lag here as well, just for anyone wondering. There's a little bit of slowdown just because the game's struggling to load for me. If there's any fire physics and any water physics that the game can see whilst you're trying to do anything, the game slows down. It just doesn't like it. There we go. So now we're going to go find the 4th jeweled scepter. And I've got a notorious door hop that I'm going to attempt here. And I think I do a couple attempts and they just say, like, I'm locked in, I can't afford any more stupid time loss. I'm just going to go ahead and do the area normally, which I think I'm just going to have to default to doing the area normally, unfortunately. If the door hop was consistent, it would save a bit of time, but it's just not. What we can do here instead is just do the area normally, and we do this in the Xbox original version of the run. So I'm going to enter the dungeons here. I accidentally use heal for some reason. Thankfully I checked it beforehand. Once again, for some reason, didn't think to fill up my willpower there again. Use a will potion. But what the dungeons basically comes down to is that we're going to go through the main passage. We're going to fail the door hop. And we're going to go to like a central well. We're going to take a left and just go to basically the end of the area. Going to hit one lever. Go into a little sealed off chamber. For some reason it's sealed off. Maybe it's like just like a jail. A specific jail for some reason. As you see here. This part of the store hop is quite consistent. But everything after this is super inconsistent. Unfortunately, I end up giving up on this. You can even sometimes somehow manage to make the door open on its own. This door here is locked from the other side. There's not even like a lever or anything on the other side. It's just locked. And I have had it in the past where it's, for some reason, just opened up on its own. I think I'm looking at this and I try, just about to go back to the main menu. I think I try to keep spawning, and I think this is the point where I say, nah, enough's enough, I've just got to keep moving. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to route that out of the run now because it's just too inconsistent. So we're going to take a left here by this big well. And then we're going to take another left. I'm just going to go straight to the end of the area. On a casual playthrough, this is a neat little area, although the game does sort of drag a little bit here from memory. Just because a lot of these enemies, these male drows, just became... Oh my goodness, that one slid. But these male drow just sort of like to... You can even see the lever there. They just like to be a pain in the bum, and that's all. That's just the main reason why this area is annoying. So we get past all these guys, we're going to have this lever, and it's going to open up this chamber that we just walked by, basically. There is a key item in the chamber called the Mark of the Guards that we need to pick up. And we're going to go back to that like central well-looking area. I get stuck here for a little bit, by the way, as well, just because the game hasn't trolled me enough. Yeah, one of the drow is invisible. You can see the glowy drow. This just decided to leave the chamber. This is the Mark of the Guards. We're going to pick it up. Then we're going to save, load, go back to the start of the area. And then we're going to go back to the well. And we're going to take a right instead, straight to a door. And for some reason I pull out the menu. But we're going to go to the well again. We're going to take a right, open up a door. We're going to get a little cutscene for it and everything. And we're just going to do the area normally to go around and get the 4th Jeweled Scepter. So there's not too much else going on here. There's just one door that we're going to open up. And then there's like a little puzzle that we're going to do. And after that we just go through and get the Jeweled Scepter. The puzzle itself is just a bunch of steam vents. Just for some reason there's a bunch of steam vents in a room across here. And yeah, we're just going to make sure we don't get hit by them, that's all. That's the entire puzzle. And luckily we didn't charge straight into that enemy there. I forget what those guys are called, but they're pretty cool. Just got to keep an eye on them because they have this one brief attack that can slow you down. It's not fun to deal with. So as I said, we got this like steam vent puzzle, and that's literally the puzzle. That's it. We're just going to make sure we don't get hit, which we just... Wait a second. Well, no, we don't have to wait a second here, actually. So we don't want to get hit like that. And then we're going to go ahead, go into this little room, and on this pedestal is where the 4th scepter is. And then for some reason I go ahead to save and reload, but don't need to do it from this point because I'm just going to leave this here. Although it may be worth trying. We lose a little bit of time on saving and loading the game. Then we do tend to get stuck here quite a bit often. That being said, I think dealing with the enemies here is just faster, especially if you're playing as the rogue, so you just use hide and moon silently. Anyway, next quest, scepter door, right here. We just open up the scepter door with the 4 jeweled scepters we got, and now we're going to go into the portal hub area. Alrighty, so I mentioned it before, but this is another spot where we can do an item dupe, and we're going to do an item dupe specifically more so for an item called the Front Axle Run. For some reason, I'm going looking for it when it puts it at the top of your... Oh, excuse me, it puts it at the top of your inventory. I was giggling too much there, I apologise. As you can see, we also duplicate a bunch of will potions. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try and duplicate as many front axes as we can. I believe we make it to about 53 before I go to my hero's capacity here. Capacity is affected by strength stat, which is no surprise. So what we're just going to do here is we're going to go ahead and duplicate as many of these axes as we can. And then we're immediately going to go into a boss fight. Now in the fighter run, and I believe also the rogue run, I decided to skip this fight and just go into the next area. Which you can just do that. However, it does create a sort of a paradigm where I kind of like have to keep dealing with the beholder. As you can see here, I can only do like, there we go, 53 of the front axes, that's all I can do. So it's a lot easier and a little bit quicker as well. Just to kill the beholder here, because each time I come back out to this area, I don't have to deal with the beholder. Also, I'm able to throw an axe there, and you'll see once we spawn back in, we skip the cutscene, boom, we just hit the beholder. And this is one of the main reasons we dupe the thrown axes. As you can see there, they home in on enemies, and they're dealing quite a bit of damage. One thing to know, is that another method you can use here is, particularly for the cleric, you can unlock a move called Sticks to Snakes, which specifically does poison damage. For some reason, the Beholder does not like getting hit by poison. It does a lot of damage to it. So we're just going to rinse and repeat on throwing the axes. Going to use a technique called animation cancelling. As you can see, there's like a little menu coming up constantly. For some reason, I don't throw another axe there. It's very silly of me. But when you do any action, like if you like cast a spell or any animation plays, right at the end of the animation, you can bring up what's called the slow action menu. For anyone interested in speedrunning this game, go into your menu and turn that off. If you hold in right trigger and bring up that little menu, the whole game slows down, including you. So we turn that off, and what we do is we abuse it, so that way we can cancel out the end of the animations. Very good for throwing stuff. Very good for cancelling out. Sometimes just outright cancelling out damage animations, and very good for casting spells as well. So we're in our first planar gem area. We got the wind gem off the Beholder, and now we're going to go get the nature gem. Excuse me. This area is the longest segment of the run, Serpent's Crown segment, because for some reason the developer decided that they wanted to make you run through this area multiple times. This is one of the areas that I imagine on a casual playthrough where things start to drag a little bit. So what we're going to do is we'll go from point A to point B to start with in each area. We've got 4 separate areas, including the wilds here, that we've got to get through. So we're going to go through the wilds here into the next area, which is called the something. I'm actually forgetting it for some reason. King's Fortress, I believe. That's what it's called. So here's our quest for the Serpent's Crown. That's in this area. The Serpent's Crown itself has been taken by the Armada, which are the snake guys that we're fighting, right? The leader of the Armada that we have to kill to get this crown off of is all the way in the last area, the 4th area here, before the final boss area. And of course we get a bit unlucky here, getting into the King's Fort. The King's Fort, not the King's Fortress, the King's Fort. So we're going to go through the wilds as we just did. We go through here, the King's Fort. Then we're going to go through treetops. Then we're going to go through the last area that I'm forgetting the name of. Now we picked up a bunch of potions before we came in here. Those are anti-venom potions. Very handy for dealing with this particular spot here. That's all we need them for. And then we're going to get to this specific gate here, and we're going to door hop over it. And you'll see throughout the run, if whenever we are door hopping specifically over a gate, you'll find that we have to go up twice on the spawns, and then go forward about roughly 4 to 5 times. And then we drop back down, and we're guaranteed to get past the gate. So this one's usually consistent, and usually saves a lot of time. Doing this area normally involves going through a bunch of areas with those snake heads shooting out the poison. It's not fun to deal with. We don't have enough anti-venom potions to deal with it, although we could duplicate more. And all you're doing is you're going and hitting a bunch of pressure plates. You hit 2 to raise a bridge that's in the middle of the area, just by where we are. There we go. Accidentally actually dropped down here, so very lucky that I managed to get there and not get put back on the other side of the gate. So, as I was saying, you have to hit those 2 pressure plates, and then you have to go hit, I think, another 1 or 2 pressure plates in order to open these gates. It's not fun to deal with. Of course, we have to do it in the Xbox original version of the run, because door hopping doesn't exist, because if you spawn a character on the Xbox original version, at least on the emulator, it just spawns normally. And there we see Heal accidentally coming back into play instead of Bull Rush. As you can see, I'm changing my position on the slow action menu, so if I accidentally change moves, it's not Bull Rush. We want to avoid that as much as possible. So in this area here, all we are doing is hitting 4 pressure plates. And the 4 pressure plates are the same. You have to hit them in the same order every time. Fortunately, we only have to do it once, although we do have to walk through this area 3 times. So all we have to do is, when you get in the area, you take a left. Go to like the center left area, basically. You take a right to come up the ramps here. You go left and then right. And then we're going to basically do a big old U-turn. Go to the other side of the area here. Which if you zoom the map out, you can kind of probably see the other pressure plates. But we're just going to come back past all these guys. And we're going to go to the right side. And then we're going to do the same thing, go left and right. And we're going to hit the pressure plates in the order of yellow, red, blue, and green. Same order every single time. Makes this very simple. There was a point in time I tried to door hop to get past this area. But because you have to move through these areas multiple times, door hopping the particular gate in this area is just hell on earth. It's horrible. It's very easy to soft lock on if you even get past the gate to begin with. So there's the blue pressure plate. And you see this little statue in the background there in the middle of the area? What we are doing is by hitting all these plates, that statue will turn around and it'll shoot laser beams basically at the gate at the end of the area, and it will open up that gate. So next gate's coming up here. Just gonna get past these guys. There we go. As you see here, this is a neat little area. This, as you can see there, if you go to the end of the area, you get told the how you're supposed to deal with this area. And that's the name of the area, Inner Sanctum. So now we're in the Inner Sanctum. This is the very last area before the boss area. So at the end of this area is where the Armada leader is. And that's where we're going to go get the Serpent's Crown from. We're going to kill the Armada leader. And then we're going to take the Serpent's Crown off his corpse. Then we're going to save and load so we spawn back at the start of the area. That way we don't have to deal with these guys. Then we have to go all the way back to the wilds, which includes door hopping back over the gate we door hopped over, because it's still locked. We're going to go all the way back to the wilds to where the Serpent's Crown is, the statue is for it. And then hit the trigger for putting the crown on the statue, and that will finish the quest. I'm just going to come in here, and I'm going to use up the remaining rods of fire that I have. They are very consistent with dealing with the other Armada in the room. Of course, this fight can still be a pain in the bum. But I have plenty of raised amulets, and I was actually hoping for that here because it's just faster and easier. I don't have to use up any health potions. I just eat the poison damage, die once, and there you go. Nice and easy. Pretty consistent fight there. We got the Serpent's Crown. I make a new save. I make a lot of new saves in this run just because I forget where I've loaded up certain items and whatnot. And as you can see there, save and load, go back to the start of the Inner Sanctum, and then we go all the way back to the starting area. We're going to put the Serpent's Crown where it belongs, and then we're going to go into a hidden area, a secret area, and grab an item called the Wild Bala Note. It's a quest item that we need later on. So I'm going to grab that, and then we're going to come all the way back here and go and deal with the Yefak, which is the boss of this area. Also, on the way, we're going to complete the Rescue the Priestess quest, which is literally just past where the Armada leader was. So yeah, these areas, not very well set out for a casual playthrough. A little bit annoying. A lot of backtracking. That's okay, because the next Planar Gem area after this one is a lot quicker. As you can see here, we can go back to this gate. And this could be a little bit tricky, but you can do a pretty consistent set of door hops here. This set of spikes is where if you run past it, you will get pushed back. If the gate's not open, you will get pushed back by like an invisible force field, basically. So we're going to go ahead and just door hop to get back over here. I do get a little bit stuck here, but usually this gate cooperates pretty well. And you can kind of see off the left there, the bridge in the water. That's what we hit pressure plates throughout the area to bring up, so that way we can open up the gate down below us. But usually, I don't know why I'm saying usually, but every single time if we do it that way, it is slower than just door hopping. And especially in the all bosses run, because we just go and kill the boss, and there's a portal in the boss area that we just use to get back to the portal hub room. Go, we're in a pretty good position there, I believe, so I switch back to the dwarf. Yeah, I try to drop down there and does not quite work out. Actually, no, I didn't stay down. Interesting. I think I do end up taking the next spawn forward, and I drop down into the gate. See if it happens here. I think because I realized like I'm spending too much time on this. So what I could have done on the last spawn is drop down, and then this happens. So I was actually gearing up to grab the next controller and spawn in another dwarf, and then that dwarf should have been on the right side of the gate, or on this side of the gate. So that's pretty interesting to see there. Doesn't usually happen. And what does usually happen is that the cleric likes to bull rush into walls. Bull rush is supposed to actually be used as an attacking move. So as you can see there, likes to target enemies over just moving straight ahead. So we kind of have to be careful with where we bull rush. But anyway, we are nearly done with the Serpent's Crown quest. So, and like pretty much all of the other heroes in the All Quests Speedrun, this segment takes about roughly 11 to 12 minutes. As you can see here, with the cleric, we're taking like 14 minutes. Although, admittedly, some of that is due to the door hopping. So here's where the Serpent's Crown is meant to be here. There's a bunch of Armada here that like to get in the way. It's a real pain in the ass to deal with. So we just get here, we make sure we stick up against the statue a couple seconds. That will trigger this cutscene, and the quest is done. So we get heaps of XP, we level up, and then as I said, we're going to go into a hidden area. Just going to take that death there because it's easier. And for some reason I pick wisdom here. I accidentally use, I'm not meant to use any of the level up points yet, but I do anyway, just by accident. Leveling up Bull Rush does nothing for like the movement or duration or anything. It just increases the amount of damage it does. So as you can see here, we're going to go into this little hidden area. Grab the Wild Balanote. And then we leave back out. Now one thing I've actually just realized here is that I could potentially save and load there. And it would hopefully spawn me back on the side of this area in the wilds where I came out of. Because trying to maneuver back past all these guys can be a bit of a pain in the bum. So that would save me from that, and then I would just have to deal with the Armada guys back at the end of the area. Got this glowy that we have to deal with. So I could spawn basically right back here. So that might be something worth trying out. Would mean another loading screen, but that's probably preferable to what we just had to deal with there. Just gotta make sure after we complete the after we pick up the Wild Balanote, and after we complete the Serpent's Crown mission, quest, not mission. After we do those two things, just gotta make sure we save. Gonna use a anti-venom potion here, and then gonna go do a door hop, which is perfect time for it because we're just about out of will potions, and I don't want to have to duplicate anymore. So once again, gonna do this door hop here for a third time. And usually it cooperates. I actually don't remember this one. Let's see how it goes. Not a good start. Not a good start. There we go. There is a chance if I drop down and have a bunch of enemies right below me, like right there. There's a chance if I drop down, I can sort of be seated on top of them. And then if I do it at the right time, I can spawn in a new player and be all the way on the other side. But I haven't figured out how to do that consistently yet, so I haven't implemented it here. So now we've done enough spawns forward. So now that I can try and spawn in the dwarf, I'm going to do one more spawn forward, and then I should be trying to move forward. Unfortunately, we're starting to get stuck a little bit. There we go. That's pretty much a perfect sign there if the characters are getting stuck on each other, that when you move and you fall back down, you'll be on the other side of the gate. Got like the last little stretch of the nature gem area before we go fight the Airfac, which is a really cool boss. My favourite boss in the game to fight. We can't cheese it like we do with some of the other bosses, but we do have a particular way of doing it, which makes it a bit easier to fight, and it's really fun. Similar with Bullet as well, there's just a particular way you handle Bullet and use its weaknesses against it, as well as the rods of fire that we get at the start of the game. Here we use the thrown axes. So here, you would have maybe heard over my commentary, you would have heard the stone statue turning as we entered the area. Basically just open these gates up once again. So now we're back in the inner sanctum. We are just going to bypass all the enemies. I should say run by, not bypass. I say bypass, it's like, oh, I just don't have to deal with them. No, I very much have to deal with them. No, we run by all these guys, sort of get stuck here a little bit. Fortunately, Bull Rush can sometimes cause that animation there. Now we are running very low on more potions, so we need to do a big item dupe just before the Airfac fight. And here's the priestess. Like I said, right by the Armada leader.
I knew you would. I will heal you before you go.
We have now rescued the priestess, and we're going to do one quick item dupe just to make sure we have everything we need for the Airfac fight, and then we're going to go defeat the Airfac because we now get that as a quest. You can see here I made the mistake of having far too many saves, because what I could have done is just gone all the way back to the portal save, and I could have saved myself a couple item dupes here. So that's now, I believe, 15 Foreign Axes of Ruin I've just duplicated. Sorry, that's 30, now 45. I could have done that first 30 within one item dupe. So here I decide I'm taking too long, I need to move onward, and I'm getting sick of these guys. I've got 60 Foreign Axes of Ruin, which is plenty for the Airfac. The Airfac is guaranteed to either guard or just start flying as soon as we hit it with an attack. Sometimes even earlier. So what we're going to do is just hang out in this corner, whack these bones which you can hit. So if you come into these fights, if you come into this Airfac fight, right, and you've got finisher moves which you can unlock, you can actually use those bones to fill up the meter for the finisher move. Meaning you can use the fully powered version of the finisher move. So this is all we do on the Airfac fight here. We're just going to set it up so that it kills us intentionally. And as you can see, the Airfac sort of just sits there for a little bit. It's not sure what to do. All we're going to do here is rinse and repeat. So we want these rocks that are falling here, that the Airfac's dropping on us, we want them to get us down low enough so that when the Airfac drops down, they nearly kill us. Nearly does it here, there's not that much power there, so unfortunately, the Cleric does have a higher constitution stat than the other characters. That's on me for not playing towards that. As you can see, we died and the Airfac's taken a little bit longer to take off than usual, where we're able to knock down a sizable chunk of its health bar. And once again, we just go to this corner, just stand there whacking on the bones. And at a certain point, unfortunately I'm getting a bit unlucky here with the attacks. I realise that there's no point in me trying to get the Airfac to kill me off that particular landing there. It's just not doing enough. But we are going to get killed here, I believe. There we go. I think we're just able to beat the Airfac here. I don't quite remember. Actually, no. Never mind. We're nowhere near killing the effect there. The effect fight, sorry, is just rinse and repeat of that same thing. And we want to make sure we stand in this corner in particular, because as you can see in the background, there's a pathway there that's going to take us to where the nature gem is, and the portal to get out of here as well. So there we go, that's a bit better version of it. We kill the effect. What was that, about roughly 3.5 minutes for that? Could be a little bit faster, but that's not too bad. So we pick up the Gem of Nature and we go back to the Portal Hub area. Now we got one quest that we're about to receive. For some reason I'm not paying attention, but we've got one quest here that we're going to receive, and that's to go find Laundra, and that's it. The 5 gem area has one quest, and it doesn't even involve killing the boss of that area. You never get the Red Dragon as a quest. So, gotta make sure we walk forward here, by the way. You gotta make sure you're always walking forward there. That way you avoid getting, that way you can take both of those text boxes inside that one cutscene. Just makes it a bit faster. So in the Metalworks area here, we're in the engines room. What the game wants you to do casually is find 5 diamonds, and then those 5 diamonds are going to open up the a certain door leading into the Red Dragon's lair. For the sake of the All Quest run, we don't need to touch these diamonds because we don't need to go into there and we don't need to kill it. And even in an All Bosses run, we don't touch them because we just door hop into the area. There is one sort of mini boss, I guess, that we're going to take on here, but we can cheese it really easily. These are fire giants that we're walking by here. They have a king, basically, and a couple areas that we're going to go kill. And we're going to get an item called the cage key off them. And the cage key is going to open up a cage where Laundra is. So, Laundra is going to give us what's the final diamond that you would use in a casual playthrough to get to the Red Dragon's lair. There's one of the diamonds right there. But we don't need it. We seriously don't need it. There's only the one quest to find Laundra. So, yeah. Once again, if you guys want to see that, you can check out the All Bosses run. They'll be linked in the description, or there'll be a card on screen somewhere for it. And, yeah. I will say, the Red Dragon fight, there's not too much to it. Admittedly, the Red Dragon fight, we cheese it. As a matter of fact, there are 3 bosses in a row, 3 main bosses in a row, where we just cheese them. You are going to see one of them in this run. So don't you worry. If you want to see it, you're going to see it. So we get very lucky here. We somehow don't die. I'm thinking to myself, man, I'd like to die, and then I die. Really nice. So yeah, we don't need to kill any of these enemies. We're just moving from point A to point B. Dealing with the damage. There's that one hallway back in that area, in the smelting room, where we've got to be very careful. We expect to take a death there, just because you've got the constant fire damage you're dealing with. You can get a resistance to fire, like, buff as a skill here, but for the speed run, we don't need it. So yeah, just accidentally take another death. Thankfully, we're not getting hit with the floor moves. We might see it here somewhere. But these fire giants are very, very... There we go, there it is. For these fire giants, for the most part, we want to see them try and just swing the axe at us. But yeah, if there's a little bit of range, they will just opt in for that fire move. The fire circle move, whatever it is. And here's the funniest hallway in D&D Heroes. Unfortunately, we get nothing here, I believe, because, once again, back at the start of the game, we got normal cutscenes. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any of the Clockwork Soldiers here. Like, this guy just about walks out into range, but not quite far enough. So yeah, not so funny hallway there. Same with this one, I believe, as well. Yeah, there's something to do with the glitch at the start of the game. If you get a glitch cutscene, these workers will just start flying around. But yeah, we don't seem to see any here. It's a real shame. And yeah, just casually get bonked there. There's no real way for us to get around the little slabs here without getting hit by the what are they called, the mechanisms on the wall. So we just have to wait. Here we're gonna cheese the Fire Giant King. You see, I'm gonna duplicate a bunch of Phronax runes because I believe I have like next to none of them. I shouldn't need many of them, so I think I need to do one more here and that'll be it. I think I do a dupe for will potions as well, or maybe I don't. Fortunately, with how full our XP bar is, all I have to do is listen for the level up sound for when I kill this guy. Unfortunately, in this run, the fire golems come in and find us and they start attacking. Again, we just got to focus on the, there we go, on the Fire Giant King. Grab the Fire Cage key off of him. Inadvertently grab the Soul Shard that's there as well. Just going to do that little level up there. Take a death. These guys are just standing there now because they're confused. Pull out the Warp Stone, use it so we're ready beforehand. And there is the final launch request.
Hey, help me! Do you have the key? You do? What a relief. I was showing this teleportation amulet I stole. Next thing you know, I'm in the middle of a dozen metal creatures with clanking parts and wheels. That's the last thing I remember before I woke up locked in its cage. I couldn't even use the amulet to get out. I'm going back to Bale, but I'll leave something here for you.
So as you can see there, Launch was rescued. It's the only quest we need to do in this area. I also believe I make a bit of a muck up here because I go... Oh, I'm trying to remember if I used the wrong portal here or something. Anyway, Rick is just elated that we're starting to find the planar gems. So he just warns us that he's going to be leaving soon because he fears for his own safety. Spoiler alert, he is the final boss. He's just hiding in human form.
You must get those gems. I will help you as much as I can, but I too fear for my own safety. Is there anything you need?
What we're going to do here is we're going to go back through the portal if I don't muck up. Oh no, I did it correctly. That's good. So we go back to the portals through this portal. When you beat the Beholder in this game, you unlock a portal going in between the castle shop and the portal hub area, as you can see here. So now we're going to do an item dupe, and then we're going to do a door hop. Since we didn't pick up the fire gem, we have to do a door hop now. To get over the door here, and we're going to utilize that to... We're going to do that, to head into the next area, and then we're going to go do a bunch of killing, defeat the ice golems, do a bunch of quests in the ice gem area, and yeah, basically go grab that gem as well. So this is the only door hop in these areas that we necessarily have to do because we don't have the fire gem. The not so fun part of this area here as well coming up is all of the enemies we have to deal with. But I'm unlocking a special move here called Earthquake. It deals a couple bits of damage, and I've also got to do a bunch of raised dead amulets there. This next area you want just heaps of raised dead amulets for. And as you can see here, I haven't quite done my homework, so I'm just sort of like, how many tomes do I actually need? Because I want to fully level up Earthquake. And it's like a big hammer slam move, and we're going to utilize that to deal with the golems. So have a look here, I only need another 21 tomes. So we do that, accidentally almost spawn in one of the fighter heroes. And then I duplicate more of the raised amulets. So I don't know the exact number, but we end up taking a lot of deaths in this next area. It is just guaranteed. So we finish up leveling up Earthquake there. And I believe as well later on we're going to unlock the move Storm of Vengeance. Very, very powerful move. I'm just going to make sure I save here. Good, good, good. And then for some reason I make an extra save. I don't know why. I think because Portals 5 has the 30 times of the pupil on it. And then once again, we don't have the fire gem, or the gem of fire, I should say. And we're going to go ahead and door hop to get into this area. So this is another point of the run where things slow down a little bit, just because going around and defeating all the ice golems, you have to cover all of the first ice gem area, and then you have to deal with not only the golems, but as well as that, we also have to deal with the barbarians, and they are one of the worst enemies in the game. They are a massive pain to deal with. Fortunately, Earthquake is an area of effect attack as well, so killing the barbarians becomes a little bit easier. You get a little bit of extra XP, and that way we can spend more time focusing on the golems. We can basically attack both of them at the same time. So I don't know why I'm checking that, but for some reason I was like, did I spawn in the right character? So it's just making sure. Alrighty, we enter the ice gem area here. We meet the best girl in the game, as you see in the splits there. Quickly say hi to her. She's asking us to destroy her ice golems that she summoned. So as you can see there, using Earthquake, zooming out so I can also check the damage. I want to make sure that I actually am dealing damage. I killed one of my runs because I unlocked a move called Sticks to Snakes. And I was using that here, and it didn't work. Didn't deal any damage. It dealt like maybe 30 damage maximum to the ice golems, and it didn't deal very much damage to these guys either, so it's completely useless. Killed my own run. Now what I could have done to fix that run and get like a really bad starting run is unlocked Earthquake. As you can see, I'm going to go check over the body there. For the sake of killing the ice golems, this is completely unnecessary. However, the ice golems, as a rare drop, they can drop two particular elixirs, one of which is the Elixir of Knowing. I think I've got that right. It might be the Intuit's Elixir. Those are the two names of the elixirs. Those are the names of the two elixirs that we can get here. As a rare drop on the ice golems, they can sometimes drop one of those two elixirs. So the Intuit's Elixir, which I believe is the Wisdom one, as you can no doubt tell, it raises the elixir stat. If you pick up an elixir in this game, which you will, at the start of the game there's a Constitution elixir. So that gives you a permanent +1 buff to your Constitution stat. So the Intuit's Elixir, if I got the right one, that will give you a permanent +1 stat buff to your Wisdom stat. So of course, if we combine that with item duping, we can just buff ourselves up to have a huge amount of Wisdom, and then some of our attacks will deal lots of damage. The Cleric in particular gets his own little special buff from raising his Wisdom stat. Same with the Fighter with his Strength stat. Same with the Rogue with her... I don't know why I think I'm checking my Raising Ambulance here. Same with the Rogue with her Dexterity stat. As well as, and also of course, same with the Wizard with her Intelligence stat. And the other elixir, if you're wondering, the Elixir of Knowledge, or Elixir of Knowing, that buffs the Intelligence stat. So very good to get that here as well. We look for that here in this run here. We look for that so we can potentially buff her Intelligence. Unfortunately, it's never happened in a live run. I've had two specific runs of one each of those characters where I get an elixir, but I get the wrong elixir. Automoker's there. Like, that's another rare drop there. Really good item. We can utilize that later on. I think we get lucky and we get a second one as well, so we don't have to use this one. But if we didn't get one later on, it would still be really good for an item dupe we're doing later. Now, we don't necessarily route any of the runs with those two particular elixirs in mind. As handy as they would be to get here, because we just stop doing item dupe, go hide somewhere, do a safe item dupe, and become very powerful. The reason for that is that there is an elixir at the end of the game, in the last hidden area of the game. There is an elixir called the Elixir of Elixirs, and it gives you a +1 buff, or a +1 stat buff, to every single one of your stats. To your strength, to your dexterity, to your constitution, to your intelligence, to your wisdom, even your charisma stat. So again, you combine that with item duping, and we become massively overpowered. As you can see here, I am duplicating more potions, and I should be duplicating... I don't, interestingly enough. I was thinking I was going to duplicate some of my raised dead amulets as well, because we've taken a few deaths. So I'm going to keep an eye on my raised dead amulet count here, because as you can see, it's very easy to take deaths here. It happens quite frequently. But as you can also see here, Earthquake is helping with dealing with a lot of these enemies. We're doing the quest of killing the ice golems, and then with the AoE damage, we're also killing all these barbarians. It makes it a lot easier to deal with this area. I think the only character that really suffers here nowadays is the fighter, because there's not too much that could really be used. I mean, we could use one move that I haven't really thought of to use here, but yeah. So I've only got 6 raised amulets, so I go ahead and... Oh, do I? Yeah, there we go. Now I go ahead and duplicate some of the raised amulets. Now we have 20 of them, so we're good for the rest of the area. It's just good to guarantee that, because this is a pretty far point in the run. Really painful point to have to restart the run. So of course we had a potion drop there. That's what we're listening for as well when we're attacking the golems. Unfortunately, in both cases, they're not the elixir we're looking for. Again, the elixirs are a very rare drop, so we don't route around them at all, except for the one guaranteed elixir at the end of the run. And then I just make sure I drop this item, so I don't have to deal with it when it comes to item duping later. And, we've only got 2 more golems to deal with. One's just up around the corner here, and one's at the end of the area. And as you can see, this is a pretty successful Frostbound, I believe this area is called. Pretty successful Frostbound ice golem kills. One more ice golem to see if we get to buff our intelligence stat. Doesn't end up happening, spoiler alert. Now if it did, we'd probably still just do this area as normal. Probably the first time at least. Just so I can get out of here and go all the way to the mountain pass. And then that's where I deal with that. We get 10k experience points for killing those ice golems, so it is worth it. We get a free level up out of it. So you notice on the splits, you got the Wild Balenote and the Cask of Winters. In this area, we're going to go into a secret area, one of like 3 or 4, I believe. And we're going to go ahead and find an item called the Cask of Winters. We're going to take that back to, when you go into the mountain pass area, which is just next area. And then we're going to use a warp stone to go back to Castle Bale. We're going to go back to the Dragon's Tankard. We're going to give the Wild Balenote to one of the characters. And then we're going to talk to another character called Zin and give him the Cask of Winters. Which, we're actually going to talk to Zin first. So we get this cutscene for getting this quest. Then we're going to go give the, hand the Wild Balenote in. Go back to Zin and hand in the Cask of Winters. We also are going to get a quest to take an item called the Horn Skull back to where it came from. And that is in the next Planet Gem area. Warpstone back to Castle Bale. Fortunately, we do not get another cutscene here with Rick, I believe. Actually, we do, never mind. I lied to you! I lied to myself as well. Just coping and sieving here, basically. This is where I think I make a mistake. When I come back to the castle shop, I go through the main portal back to the portal hub area, and then I have to come back through here and go to the castle shop and go through the warp portal. So, it cost myself a little bit of time there. As I said, Dragon's Tankard. Gonna grab and finish a bunch of quests here. Then we're gonna go back to the mountain pass.
Just who I wanted to see. You know what I'd kill for? Well, lots of things actually. But what I really want is something called the Cask of Winters. Word is that it's through one of the portals in the dungeon. You got as good a shot as any at finding it. And if you do, come talk to me. telling you I needed it. You a mind reader? Ah, who cares? I'm just glad you got it. May I? Thanks. Listen, it's no secret sooner or later you're going to the Bone Necropolis. I was there 3 years ago. I stole this from one of the tombs. I've had nightmares ever since. Horrible nightmares. Please return this for me. The tomb's in the upper graveyard and it's got a red altar. I'll make it worth your while, I swear. You gotta be kidding me. Is that it? That's the cask?
So that's the last time we talked to any of these guys.
Look, I'm gonna get a good price for this.
So now we're just going to go back to the mountain pass. And the only thing we need to do there is go to the Frostworm's lair and kill it. So I believe here is where I make the mistake of going back to the Portal Hub area instead of going for the warp point. So a little bit of a goof up coming up here. And there it is. Yep, very, very silly on me. So I lose time here because I go back to the Portal Hub area. Which you can see there, I can go back through the main area if I wanted to, but there'll be a lot of time lost there.
What do you need?
So there. Fortunately, we don't get another cutscene with Rick here. He's fully updated us on those cutscenes because we didn't get the Gem of Fire. So now we're in the mountain pass. I'm going to do an item dip here just to double check something, or I'm saving here for some reason. I actually don't know why. I think it's because of the amount of XP I've got. I'm not 100% certain why though. So all we're going to do here is set a bunch of levers, and then we're going to go through that gate back at the start of the area, and then after that we're going to go to basically the end of the area. We're going to do another door hop to get over a gate there, and then we're going to leave this area to the Frostworm's lair. And then the Frostworm, as you'll be no doubt see, it's going to be the hardest boss fight in the game. It's oh so hard. It's so hard that we're guaranteed not to take damage. It's easy as hell. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, we don't see we'll see it in this in the All Quests route with the Red Dragon, but with the Frostworm here as well, we cheese them when we do fight them. And of course, the Frostworm is a quest here, so I'm going to go ahead and deal with the Frostworm. But also, later on, in the All Bosses fight, we fight the Lich. It's the only category where we fight the Lich. And funnily enough, we'll get stuck here as well. It's fun times. Fortunately, we have Earthquake, which also paralyzes certain enemies. That's that gate done. The way the Lich works, interestingly enough, I don't know why I'm saving here or why I'm checking my saves. It's very strange. But with the Lich, you get into its boss fight, you hit the cutscene trigger, and then if you just stand at the bottom of the area, as you'll see here with the Frostworm fight, it won't see you. It will have physically loaded in, but it won't see you. So you can just stand there and throw items at it, and you can kill it. No damage taken. Same here with the Frostworm. We're going to use the Thrown Axes of Ruin. After we do this door hop here, we're going to use the Thrown Axes of Ruin on the Frostworm, and we're going to kill it that way. Nice and easy. We're just going to cheese the crap out of the fight. Yeah, and we got another door hop here. This one's quite laggy, as I mentioned earlier in the run. We have a bunch of water physics to deal with here. So the game's got a lot of water to load in, and it doesn't like having to do that. Granted, it's never supposed to. You're never supposed to see this. So the game's going to get a bit laggy here. And also you're going to see a bunch of things that you're not supposed to see as well. Like the edges of all these pillars and stuff. You can see like a bunch of almost like pillar-like stuff And again, if you're playing the game normally, you'll never see these things. Like the edge of the water area behind us, or in front of us, I should say. You're not meant to see any of that, so yeah, the game's got a lot of stuff to load in and doesn't like having to do it. Alrighty daddy, so that should be the last of the first part of the hop. It's pretty much at the end of the area. We've got Baltoken, who's level 13, which is probably why I saved to keep the level. Struggling a little bit here, which is a bit of a shame. But I am far enough now that I could probably just drop down with grade in here. For some reason, I am just stuck. I just can't seem to get moving. I think we do a little change there, and that seems to work. There we go. Oh, I did that the wrong way around. Thankfully, we could still get down with the cleric. But yeah, that's the wrong way to do that, because it's very risky. And what I'm going to do here is duplicate a bunch of thrown axes of Rowan, excuse me. Because we need a lot of them to kill the Frostworm. About 80 to 90 odd should be enough. We should be fine. I think really quickly here I use that firebomb just to get it out of my inventory. Just because it's a pain in the bum to deal with later on. And here we go. Like I said, hardest boss fight ever. Once again, somehow the Frostworm has not noticed us. Although the Frostworm can only like maneuver between these big holes that you're seeing. So there's one at the other end of the area that spawns in, and it's just sitting there. Again, it has not noticed us. I think even if it attacked, it couldn't actually kill us from the range that it has to hit us from. It would have to spawn either next to us or to our left here. The good thing about this as well is that the Frostworm spawns in a bunch of little minions. They'll crawl up to you, hit you, and then curl up into a ball and explode on you. Not fun to deal with. So yeah, the Frostworm's much easier this way. Then we've also got the Ring of Swiftness, which increases our attack speed. Very nice to have. And we're just going to go ahead and leave the area. So now we use the Gem of Ice to unlock the door to the lower crypts, I believe. I'm going to get that mixed up. It's either the lower or the upper crypts. We're going to go to the Bone Necropolis. That's what the big main area is called. But this first area, we're going to hit a bunch of levers to open up a gate at the end of the area, and then we're just going to leave. So you can see we're in the Death Gem area now. We're in the Death Gem plane. Got a bunch of skeletons here. We're in a graveyard, of course. We're just going to hit a bunch of levers, get past all these skeletons, leave the area, and move onward. So as you can already see, dealing with the skeletons in this area is not fun. They are kind of annoying enemy to deal with, just because particularly the guys with the swords, their swinging arcs can be quite large. And the guys with the arrows, they can actually, even when we do the door hops, and we spawn up into the air, you'll have noticed that a lot of times the enemies on the ground, they can't hit us. We're out of their range. But the skeletons with the arrows, they can still shoot arrows at us and hit us and knock us down, so they can be quite painful to deal with. As you can see there, large hitting range for the skeletons. Thankfully we got through there, mostly unscathed. So now, in the either the upper graveyard or lower graveyard, I'm getting that probably wrong, we're going to go ahead and finish the Horn Skull quest, which we just got to take the Horn Skull back to a specific temple, and then after that, we've got a door hop to do. And that will take us into the Bone Temple. There we go, Horn Skull done. We don't get any XP here for that. And I'm saving, thinking that I want to keep the amount of XP that I've got. I guess for the Ring of Swiftness it's good, but it'd be a lot faster if I just didn't do it. We don't really need levels per se. As long as you're about level 8 or 9, like, you can unlock pretty much any move in this game and use it. You'll have enough mana to use all the moves. So we're going to have a door hop here, which can be a little bit painful. I think in the end I dropped back down and restart it. Just because at a certain point it's pointless to continue on. We're just going to go ahead and reset it. There we go. So we get a good spawn to start with. Can be a little bit scary here just because with a new character you've only got the one raised dead amulet. So if you take multiple deaths, it's game over. Go spawn Baltok in. Or spawn the Cleric in, I should say. And you'll be able to tell pretty easily when we're in the right spot. We'll be right over the doorway, drop back down into the trigger. There we go. Nice and easy. We're already in the temple. And this part of the run can be either quite fun and not relieving. That'd probably be the wrong word for it, but you know, I'm forgetting the word for it. But it can be a good fun area when the door hops go right. But otherwise, it can be very stressful because we've got one door hop here, and then we're gonna immediately after we do this door hop, we've got another door hop pretty much straight away. And after that, to get out of the Bone Temple, we're going to do one more door hop. 3 door hops back to back to back. And that's how we get out of the area. So we get a little bit lucky there. That could have easily been us stuck in the gate. So we got another door hop here. Line ourselves up here, right in front of the doorway. Right up against the wall, I should say. That way we can go up. It's not ideal. That's not ideal. Don't continue it. Some reason I take an extra second or two there just to think about it. There we go. That first door hop, you always want to be up on top of the character. You've got to be up on top of the character. Now we just need one that's just up on top of the doorway. That's not quite it. There it is. It's kind of hard to tell. Once you know what you're looking for, you can see it. I think I'm still even like a little bit too far back there. But I end up getting away with it. Go. And then we're going to despawn player 2, because otherwise I can't continue. And then we get stuck on these skeletons. Not fun. Not fun to deal with, especially if they're spawning up from the ground. You get actually physically stuck on the players. And yeah, this door hop can be a little bit finicky. I think this one I get a little bit stuck. I do get knocked down as well, I think. I'm not 100% certain. But as you can see there, we're struggling just to get the first spawn. So we get it there. And hopefully we don't get shot down, but we probably do. If those vampire shots hit us, it's not a big deal. They won't knock us down typically. But as you saw before, there is a skeleton shooting fire arrows. So I believe even here we can get... No, never mind. We drop back down and it doesn't work. Which is a shame. And then, of course, we get knocked out. Smart move there from me to despawn the fighter instead of the cleric, because the cleric has plenty of raised amulets to deal with the situation. I think I end up attacking these guys just because they're really getting in the way. At this point I just say screw it, I've got to try and go up. And I make a little bit of mistake there. So this one is a little bit painful. Now we're in the right position with Aridin there with player 1. And we should be able to just drop in. Yeah, there we go. So that is exactly what we're looking for. Like I said, this either can be a really fun set of door hops to do, or it can be really painful. Coming up here, we got the Bone Bridge. All we are doing here is bypassing or running by all the enemies. And probably going to end up taking at least a couple of deaths here just because I'm getting stuck on everything. The main thing that we're worried about is those traps where the walls drop down on us. And I believe they're called Ocelophs. These big skeletal guys, big sort of alien-esque looking guys. They spawn in skeletons, and like I said earlier, the skeletons, you get stuck on them. Alrighty doty. Now out of the Bone Bridge into the Lich's Lair. And we got back-to-back door hops to do here as well. So we're going to go to the Lich's Lair main entrance. And in that main entrance, we're going to see, in front of the main entrance, sorry, we're going to see a Blood Golem. And a casual playthrough, you try and kill it. Here we don't really have enough stuff to kill it with, without taking a lot of hits and losing a lot of time. So normally you would destroy that Blood Golem first. But you can just hop over the door. And this is usually a pretty consistent door hop here. Sometimes you can just spawn straight to the other side. But this is the pretty typical way of doing it. You go either side here, doesn't really matter too much, as long as you go forward and up towards the center here. And then at this point, we just want to be on the other side of the door. It's a very thin door, so you can just get straight through. We're having a little bit of trouble here, but that's not too bad. There we go, that's fine. So there you go. Very easy door hop to do. Next one we're going to do, we're going to get over a wall, basically. Like with the Church of Paler, I guess. You see there is a wall of magic there, stopping us just walking into the portal area and picking up the gem there. So we're just going to door hop up and over. I believe here I actually get knocked back down. I get into the next spawn here, which is up on top of the wall, which is the start of us going forward, much like with the gates. Or you can hear it as well. I believe this is where I get knocked down. Yep, there we go. And unluckily, I spawned backwards. Unluckily, I spawned backwards. The Lich followed us. This is a byproduct of us not getting a glitch cutscene back at the start of the run. So the Lich is very interested in us. Usually, we don't ever have this happen. This is like I wouldn't say 1 in a million chance, but this is the only time I've seen it happen this way. As you can see with those big ass swords, we don't want to deal with the Lich. In the All Bosses run, we cheese the Lich, so that spot where we drop down and enter the Lich boss fight, we skip the cutscene and then we stand right where we are. We don't move forward at all. We don't want to get the Lich's attention because it will destroy us. So all we do is we throw, I want to say about 100 thrown axes at it. Thrown axes are run specifically. We throw 100 of those at it and we kill it. So here I believe I just try and get a good Baltok spawner, or a good cleric spawn. And I try and do one more spawn forward. And there we go. There's basically our good to go sign there. Now we just spawn out, drop down. There's our death gem, 5 gems found. And there we go. And if you're wondering, the find the 5 gems quest, as you see there, it still pops even though we don't actually have all 5 gems. You notice we're missing the fire gem. We have all the other gems, but not the fire gem. And if it was consistent enough, we wouldn't even get the wind gem either from the beholder, because we wouldn't fight the beholder.
It tainted your weapon's powers with his magic, and in turn, the magic of the gems. The portal you see behind me will bring you to his castle. Use the gems against him. The future of Bale is in your hands.
So now we have our final quest. All we have to do is go and kill Cad. That is the only quest we're going to do now. Now, I don't know if I actually end up saving here. Hopefully I did, just to be safe. What am I doing here? Using a warp stone for some reason instead of saving. So I do save here. I lose a little bit of time to this. But the reason it took me so long to get a cleric run done is because the last run I did crashed right here. So fortunately, straight away, we get the cutscene. So, if we didn't get the cutscene and just blacked out there, I could just restart the console, start the game up again, and load straight into this save. But thankfully, we didn't have to do that here. Very rarely does the game crash here, but it used to actually be quite consistent with some of the older any percent runs. So all that we have to do here to get through the Shadow Keep is just go to a specific gate, door hop over it, and then leave the area. There's not much else to do. In the Xbox original version of this run, we've got to go hit 4 levers and unlock the gate that way, because of course we can't door hop. It's very painful. Fortunately, by that point in the run, the merchant back in the market, he sells rods of shadows. The Rod of Shadows, what that does is that makes you invisible, like hide and move silently on the road. As you can see here, same with every gate. We spawn up twice, and then we want to spawn forwards. Excuse me. We want to spawn forward about roughly 4 to 5 times. And even these ones are okay, although this one ends up being pretty poor. We are still able to go forward. So I think we do maybe 1 or 2 more spawns. Yeah, pretty certain at that point we're going to spawn in. Well, no, apparently we don't. Interesting. Now the cleric should, yeah, pretty set. We're all good there now. Probably didn't need to go that far, but as a safety thing, it's okay. It's only the first run. This is the first cleric run, so don't really need to like, you know, it's not too bad if we just like lose a little bit of time here just to make sure we finish the run. Do get a little bit stuck here just because we keep bull rushing into enemies. But yeah, now all we gotta do is go for a couple rooms. One of them's going to have like a sort of puzzle, which is just like a big, I'm forgetting the proper word. I'm going to say pillar, but that's not what I mean. It's like a big pillar that shoots a magic missile at us. Sorry, I'm just listening out. I would have heard a noise out my window. And it was an in-game sound. I'm recording at like midnight right now. Anyway, we go through that area. As you see, there's like a little kind of puzzle, but not really. You can see here, as I mentioned earlier, a Rod of Miracles. The reason the Rod of Miracles is very good to get there, if we don't get one earlier in the run, is because now we're going to duplicate the Elixir of Elixirs, which I mentioned earlier. And we're going to go to 200 Elixirs. So we're going to have a plus 200 buff to all of our stats. Meaning that our Constitution, our health bar is going to be very small. So, same with our willpower as well, I believe. So, the Rod of Miracles, what that does is, no matter how much HP you're on, or MP, or willpower, it will restore you back to full HP and willpower. Very, very good item to get as a pickup there. Very good. And also, naturally, as a byproduct of doing this, we become majorly overpowered. So, speaking about the actual item duping here, we go from 1 to 4, then we go from 4 to 20, then we go from 20 to 100, and 100 to 200. In older runs, I used to go to 16, and then go from 16 to 64, and then go from 64 to 192. Now I do it to 200, just because it makes the fighting a little bit easier. And if we're consistent about it, and we know which point we're trying to get to, we can still do things fairly quickly. Means that I'm more likely to one-shot Caden in Caden 1 and 2, where all we have to do is get his health down by a third. We just have to knock his health down by a third in the first 2 fights, and he'll run off like a little bitch, because that's what he is. And the last fight, where he realizes he just has to take us on, with all the planet gems and everything, all the powers of the planes, he will just easily smash down all of his health bars. So I think we're, excuse me, jeez. So I think we're nearly done. Yep, 100. So we're just gonna gift another 100 over, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mash both Star and A to use these up as quickly as possible, I should say. When I do things really quickly, it's quite slow. There we go. We got a rhythm going now. So you just want to get a good timing of pressing Star and then pressing A very quickly, one after the other. As you can see there, our willpower is going up massively, our HP is going up massively. Look how much we can carry. That's like 3 tons worth. Actually, no, that's 3,000 grams, so I'm a little bit off there maybe. Actually, it's probably still 3 ton. Or, no, 3 kg. You see there, we're going to pull out the Rod of Miracles. Plus 9, sorry, I got it wrong. It's only 999. We've got more HP and MP than that, so... But that's fine. At this point, we've got plenty of it. I'm just double checking there, I think specifically for the Storm of Vengeance move. All we have to do here now is go fight the Bebolith, which is a mini-boss. and we usually get a lot of XP from that. So we'll just have to see if I get enough XP to level up, and if I can unlock Storm of Vengeance that way. We're pretty close to leveling up here, so I should be able to use the Beverlift to level up, get Storm of Vengeance, and then make the final Caden fight very, very easy. Even with Earthquake, it's a pretty easy fight. But Storm of Vengeance is a very powerful attack. For the Rogue, Wizard, and Cleric, they all get a move that costs 800 skill points to learn, or to unlock, I should say, and they're all very powerful. So all we're doing here now is just going from point A to point B, just dodging these Mind Flayers, trying to stay away from those Hell Spawns they brought in. They're not actually called that, but I don't remember the name of them. And I get stuck here a little bit, unfortunately, on the Gargoyles and these enemies. I get my level up here, as a matter of fact. It's quite funny. So here's the Beverlift. It's like the final mini-boss. Maybe you could say it's a boss because it's got its own dedicated cutscene, but for some reason I stopped there and I go and unlock Storm of Vengeance. Very strange timing on it. Especially when I'm just using Earthquake here. I probably should have used Storm of Vengeance here, just to deal with the slowdown here. But yeah, this fight's not too difficult. There we go, nice and easy. Don't need the Playdeck Gauntlets of Ogres. We can't wear it anyway, because you have to actually unlock the ability to wear plate armor. So we're now on the last 3 areas. We're up on the Shadow Spire 1, 2, and 3. So once again, we're just going to go to Caden. Gonna mollywop him, and then he's going to run off twice. And then the third fight, he's going to be like, "I will not be defeated," and then he's going to go full power on us, and then that's the final fight, of course. Doesn't help him because we're massively overpowered by this point. Silly man. Silly demon. Leaving such a thing as the elixir of elixirs. Should drink 200 of them himself.
You survive my castle and defeat my most formidable guardians, so that I may have the honor and pleasure of killing you myself. Take your last breath, for this day you go back to the grave.
So as you see there, Caden 1 finished already. Very, very easy. Second Caden fight is going to be very much the same. Now, funnily enough, you can actually door hop over that gate. It's very difficult, especially when you got Caden right there. But if you wanted to do a pacifist run, you could just not kill anything and just door hop over that gate. There is I think a bridge that you have to, like a gap where a bridge would be. And you can door hop basically over the gap to get past Caden 2. And then Caden 3, unfortunately, you have to kill Caden. That's the only way to do it at the moment, at least. Of course, I could play around with the Caden fights and see if there's any way to kill him by just leaving the areas. Okay, Caden's just constantly talking shit still. And then for some reason he's facing the wrong way. And once again, 2 smacks of Earthquake, knock him down, and he runs off. So, one more fight. Got one little quick area to get through. Run across this bridge here. And get past these guys here. Once again, Bull Rush can be a pain in the bum to use here. Very easily get stuck on enemies just because the Cleric chose to Bull Rush into enemies. Which, in fairness, that's how Bull Rush is supposed to work. And I got a neat little surprise after this fight. I don't know if I was keeping too much of an eye on the timer. But I was figuring that this would be about an hour and 50 minutes at least. But this run, as you would have seen in the description, and hopefully on the thumbnail, if I remember to put it there, we get stuck here as well, damn. Fortunately, we got past the Circle of Cold. That could be a real pain in the bum to deal with. But this ends up being like a 1:46:44 or something like that. It's like a pretty solid time considering everything. So here's the Storm of Vengeance. You'll see here that it lasts for quite a bit, which is why it's so good. We of course just need to keep an eye and keep an ear out for where it ends, or for when it ends I should say. As you see here, we're just dominating. We are absolutely dominating Caden here. He can't deal with us. I should have kept the Rod of Miracles out. Unfortunately, this is a little bit slow, just because he's using that fire move, and he's spamming it. Just going to do another Storm of Vengeance here. Caden doesn't pick a gem here. We knock down half his health. If we got a bit more lucky there, we probably could have actually just destroyed his normal health bar. Unfortunately, this is where things slow down again, because that one ice gem move, that one ice move, that is just such a pain in the bum. It just knocks you back, and then knocks you back, and then knocks you back, and then knocks you back. It makes dealing with Caden a pain in the bum. As you can see here, just comboing Storm of Vengeance with with Earthquake, and one more Earthquake, and we're done. As I said, 146.44. Audio cut out there because the game's just basically crashed. It's done. Thank you guys for watching this. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next speedrun. As I mentioned, I'm going to be live streaming my PB attempts. By the time this video has gone up, I will be, I should be getting set to do some speedrun attempts live. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, when I'm on either day or night shift at work, I will be speedrunning. I'll be streaming during the evening, New Zealand time. It'll be about roughly 4 o'clock in the afternoon to about 7 PM at night, roughly there. And I will be speedrunning, streaming my speedrun attempts. We're going to start with all the All Quest stuff, and then we're probably going to move on to stuff like Any% and New Game Plus stuff. So if you're keen on that, be sure to subscribe and keep an eye out for the streams. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.